Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, July 26, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with NXT, which aired last night on the USA Network, live from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. The program served as the go-home show for this Sunday's Great American Bash premium live event taking place in Austin, Texas.
Looking to fly. Oh! Got caught. She got dropped. And now Ripley looking for the riptide.
The feature match saw WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley pin Lyra Valkyria after delivering the riptide to make the fourth defense of her title. In a six-man tag team match, NXT champion Carmelo Hayes teamed with his opponent for Sunday, Ilya Dragunov, and Trick Williams to defeat the Schism trio of Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, and Rip Fowler. During the bout, Dragunov accidentally knocked Williams into the ring steps, which would eventually lead to a show-closing confrontation that saw Dragunov lay out both Williams and Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes, you are a man of honor. And loyalty is very rare nowadays. So, hang on to your friendship with Trick. Because after the Great American Bash, he will be all you have left after I take your NXT Championship!
Baron Corbin interrupted an in-ring promo segment where Gable Steveson was to announce his plans for the future. Corbin ran down the 2020 Olympic gold medalist and suggested he go back to college. Steveson then challenged Corbin for a match at the Great American Bash before delivering two suplexes.
You just made my decision that much easier. How about this? Me versus you in my first match at the Great American Bash. It didn't work the first time, Booker. The decision has been made. Corbin's pissed.
I don't know if I like this guy.
Gable Steveson is NXT.
The show opened with a promo by North American champion Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, which was first interrupted by former champion Wes Lee and then by Mustafa Ali. The segment would end with Ripley convincing Mysterio to defend the title against both men at the Great American Bash before Lee and Ali began fighting each other. In other results, Dana Brooke defeated Cora Jade in a kendo stick match. Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo beat Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. And Von Wagner quickly dispatched of Javier Bernal. After the match, Wagner put Bernal through the announce table before Wagner himself was attacked with a chair by Braun Breaker.
No, Braun, no. We need some help out here.
In ratings news, WWE Monday Night Raw drew an average audience of 1.818 million viewers to the USA Network on Monday, according to WrestleNomics. That's down slightly from the 1.855 million that tuned in last week. In the hourly breakdown, Hour 1 drew 1.884 million viewers, which grew slightly to 1.914 million for Hour 2, then dropped to 1.672 million for the final hour. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was 0.57, translating to 745,000 viewers, which is a slight increase of 3,000 viewers on average from last week's key demo rating, which was also 0.57. AEW Collision drew an audience of 618,000 people to TNT last Saturday night, which is up from last week's 579,000 according to WrestleNomics. It's the biggest overall audience for the program since the debut episode drew 816,000 on June 17th. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was actually down slightly, falling from a 0.20 to a 0.17 this week. The rating equates to 237,000 people on average, which is down 21,000 viewers from the previous week. In injury news, Liv Morgan is joining Kevin Owens on WWE's disabled list. Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer is reporting that Morgan has been put on the shelf with an injured shoulder. Details of when Morgan suffered the injury are unknown. During this past Monday's Raw, before their match began, Morgan was attacked by Rhea Ripley, with Ripley Pillmanizing Morgan's left shoulder twice during the assault. Despite her left shoulder being the focus of the attack, Alvarez reports that it's actually Morgan's right shoulder that will keep her out of action. As noted on yesterday's newscast, Dave Meltzer reported on Tuesday morning that Owens is currently dealing with a fractured rib. During a press conference to promote upcoming shows, Stardom President Rossy Ogawa announced on Tuesday that Saya Kamitani will miss the rest of the ongoing 5-Star Grand Prix tournament after suffering a dislocated elbow and ligament damage during her match on Sunday against Tam Nakano. As a result of the injury, Kamitani will also be replaced in the company's upcoming Dream Tag Festival by Nakano, who will now team with Mina Shirakawa at the September 10th event. Day 2 of the 5-Star Grand Prix takes place this Saturday in Nagano. Yesterday marked Day 7 of the 33rd Annual G1 Climax tournament, which took place inside Korakuen Hall in Tokyo. The main event featured a battle of A-Block competitors, which ended with IWGP World Champion Sonata holding off the challenge of Pro Wrestling Noah's Kaito Kiyomiya, defeating him with only 2 seconds remaining of the time limit. Sonata leads Block A with 8 points, which is 3 points ahead of his closest competitor, Kiyomiya. Other Block A matches on Tuesday saw Hikuleo defeat Ren Narita, Yota Tsuji top Chase Owens, and Shota Umino knocked off Gabe Kidd. In Block B matches, Kazuchika Okada defeated fellow Chaos member Yoshihashi, El Phantasmo got his first victory of the G1, defeating Tangaloa, Kenta upended Taichi, and in the show opener, Will Ospreay defeated his United Empire stablemate, the Great Okan. Okada leads the B block with 8 points, 2 ahead of Ospreay. New Japan's G1 Climax tournament returns to Korakuen Hall today for a card of Block C and Block D matchups. David Finlay currently leads Block C with 6 points, while in Block D, Jeff Cobb and Zack Sabre Jr. lead the way with 6 points apiece. Cobb and Sabre meet in the main event of today's show. NWA Power ran on the National Wrestling Alliance YouTube channel on Tuesday with a show recorded on July 9th at Studio One in Highland Park, Illinois. In the main event, NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Kerry Morton defeated Matt Vine by pinfall to retain the title, including 2 defenses which took place after the taping for yesterday's show. Morton has defended the Junior Heavyweight Championship 24 times. That's the most since Chase Owens defended the title 25 times during his reign in 2014. Morton's next challenge comes from Colby Corino during next month's NWA 75 events. In other results, Jordan Clearwater and Odinson defeated the NWA United States Tag Team Champions, the Country Gentlemen, AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews, in a non-title match. Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch defeated Russ Jones and Shafe. Blake Troop stopped Mims by referee stoppage. And in the opener, Carnage defeated Jax Dane by countout, which was facilitated by Aaron Stevens punching Dane with a loaded glove while the referee's back was turned. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.